be introducing speakers and also kind of running around doing other random things that need to be done. In any case, to start with, we're going to have Ray speak here. I would like to introduce Rey Robles, President of FreeZone Worldwide, a nonprofit organization here in Reno, Nevada. It's recognized by the state of Nevada as an educational institution. Ray also has a counseling practice here in Reno and has been auditing nonstop for over 40 years. He is looked to as one of the leaders of the independent field, creating this convention for over 15 years now. This is the 15th annual Independent FreeZone Convention. Ray was also voted to be the president of the California Dianetic Counseling Group 5 years ago at the FreeZone Convention in 2011. Most of you may have seen his bio on the tables over there as he came in. As you can see, he's done much work on his own cases and training as well. All knowledge that he's gained, he shares freely. He's put it on his website where all can benefit if you choose. So I hereby present our friend and comrade, Rey Robles.
Hello, thank you very much. That was a pretty good intro, thank you. Yeah, this piece of paper, someone was asking me, are these a service you deliver or are they yours? And both. I've done all these things on here and I also deliver them. So it's mainly for people who don't know, new people who don't know me, and have any questions about tech and so forth. We have other auditors here also who could answer questions. Where's Trey?
He isn't here yet.
Not here yet. Okay. All right. First of all, give yourselves a hand for being here. You have arrived. All right. You know, I like to do a little group processing. What do you think?
Sure.
Kind of wake people up, you know. The Led Zeppelin playing over here didn't wake you up yet. Maybe the process will. Now, first of all, I want to get everybody's agreement that they're not going to hold me liable for this process, because it's a pretty powerful process. You've never seen it before, you've never heard about it before, but you're going to get it today. Salary. All right? One of the things we do at the Reno Center is research a lot of the lost tech, that it's in the tapes and in the red volumes that I heard that they're getting rid of the red volumes. They already burned the books. They're going to get rid of the red. The next thing, I guess, is the tapes. And I guess Mr. Miscavige is inventing his own tech. But we go by LRH at the Reno Center. And even though I've done other things, I've done the Captain Bill stuff, and Alan Walters and anything else has come up. But, excuse me, but we continue to do the LRH, and because that works faster and it's better than anything else that anybody else came up with. That's my opinion. Okay, let's get on to the group process. Have some water, please. Even before I do the group process, I want to validate some staff here. Leslie, my wife over here, who's going to do a lot of work. And my daughter Kay. And of course our IT guy here.
And we want to validate you because you do this every year. You do a lot of work.
15 years now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I'll drink to that. Steve. Testing. You hear me?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. I already practiced this in a small group, so I know it works. So you all agree you're not going to hold me liable for this, right? You all agree? Yeah. Very good. I got it on tape, so. You all know in processing, when you get a little laughter coming out in processing, you all been processed, right? You all got it processing. And you all had some laughter, right? That means charge is coming off, correct? Yes. So you got to let charge come off on this. Don't hold it down. All right? If you got a little charge coming off, let it come out. All right? To help it come out, it's good if you team up with somebody. All right? So let's do a little co-auditing here. Let's team up with someone. Do you want to team up with somebody wants to team up with him?
Brian.
Brian, no, you already did this. You already did it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You two guys gonna do it? You do it over here with this guy. And have everybody teamed up. I tell you, this is worth it. This is really gonna be worth it. This is a process you're not gonna get anywhere else. You're not gonna see this process anywhere else. You got somebody to team up with, Al? One guy short? Get over here and we'll find somebody
How
for
about
you.
Brody?
Brody? Okay, Brody, get over there. All right. All right, very good, very good. Now, we're going to have to shut that off because, okay, put it on. I want to record this, see how it goes. Okay, so the end point, because you guys are going to be auditors too, as well as you're, doing the process. So you got to know the EP, right? In phenomena.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that what we are addressing? That's what you're going to address. And every one of you is going to be addressing something different because you all have different people. You all have different cases. The end point, is that what you are addressing? Disintegrates, leaves, as is, goes away. You might feel a little shift in your space. You might feel a little like, oh, something happened. I feel different. And if you do not experience these things, it's not my fault. But you can always set up a time with me and I'll help you through it. All right. Because it's a large group here.
You'll find a seat where you can just sit together and do it.
It's a large group, I said.
You gotta do it this side.
All right, so here's the auditing command. You guys got to team up here. You guys got to team up here.
Okay. But when he comes in, we'll get she won't.
Team up. We're going to do a little co-auditing. It's okay? All right. Okay, so here's the command here. All right. So you, as a person, I want you to get the idea or remember or get a time in your life when you were the worst. When you were the worst. Yeah. Like road rage. Or your dog pees on the floor in your house and you get all mad at it, you just want to kick it, that kind of thing, that kind of rage, that kind of upset. You follow? Think about that. It's about some time when you were like at your worst. I know we don't have no saints here, right? Nobody's a saint, right? Anybody walking on water lately? No? Of course not. I hope so, but no. Okay, so I want you to tell your co-person in a sentence or two, no more than that, about this worst occasion that you have experienced and grade off. Time you kicked your dog, the time you had road rage. Tune into it. It's a vibration. It's an experience of when you were at your worst. Come on, play along with me.
So anyway.
Just a sentence or two, and then reverse the flow. Have the other guy tell you.
Of course I feel sorry.
Okay, when you finish that, raise your hand, let me know. Done? Right, you did. When you're done, raise your hand so I know you're done. Very good. Done, very good. Okay, speed it up. You just want to be a few sentences now. Don't get too heavy into your case.
We're not EP yet.
This is going to be good. Oh, a couple of slow guys. Come on in.
We're doing a group process. And you two can do it together. So we need it back. They can get back in the back.
I saved you a chair, but Nikki stole it.
Have a seat.
No, but you'll get
I'm
it.
kidding.
Well, I had to iron my own shirt, so you all are going to be victim of that.
Okay, is everybody done?
I don't mind the chair.
Find a place to sit.
You just sit anywhere.
Okay, let's get done, guys. Whenever you're done, just raise your hand. Back there, you guys done?
Glenn, right here.
All right, everyone is done here? Very good. Well, we get the guys who just came in as sit down. Sit down, guys. Hello, sit down.
1 second.
All right, you ready to do the next step?
Yes.
Is everybody ready back there? Very good. It's very careful. I want you to close your eyes and think about what about the worst you've been, that you just communicated to somebody. Close your eyes, all right? Have that in your mind. And then I want you to spot how beautiful that is. It's okay, let the laughter come out. Spot how beautiful it is.
Imagine Troy doing 10 hours a day.
Did everybody spot that? Yeah. Very good. Now spot how beautiful it's not. Very good. Now spot how beautiful it is again. Y'all done that? Just nod your head. Very good. Now spot how beautiful it's not. One more time. Spot how beautiful it is. Just admire it. Admire what you created there. How wonderful, beautiful that is. Then spot how beautiful it's not. Now, ready to go on the next one? Spot agreeing to it. Agreeing to that. Now spot disagreeing to it. Not agreeing to it. Spot agreeing to it again. Now spot disagreeing to it. One more time. Spot agreeing to it. If you agreed of whatever you were creating there. And spot, you're not going to agree to that. Spot a time you disagreed to it. Now I'm going to ask you a key question. Was there a postulate in there?
Uh-oh.
Was Was there a postulate in there? Many postulates? Several postulates. Very good. Tell your twin what the postulate was. If you spotted the postulate in that when you were at your worst,
You know there's a whole lot of them that just pick one. Yeah.
all right, you all done that? Just in a couple of sentences. All right, you ready to go on?
Yes.
Okay. All right, now listen up. Listen up. I'm sorry I have to rush some of you guys because we all are doing this together. We're all doing this together. Okay. Now, I want you to spot whatever aberration or whatever tasting you were looking at. I want you to spot what kind of flow it was. Was it an inflow? Was it an outflow? Was it an implosion? Did you implode about it? Was it an explosion? Somebody kicked that dog, you know? Was it what was it? Spot, what was it? Inflow, outflow, implosion, or explosion? Or none of the above? And raise your hand when you spotted it. Good, good. Okay, this is it. This is pretty much close to the end of this. Pretty much close to the end. What I want you to do, no matter if it was an outflow or an inflow or whatever, I want you to get the idea of just reversing that flow. Reverse the flow. You got it? Now, if it was no flow, then you should do something with it. Maybe flow it out of your universe. Because you don't want that, right?
Reversing the flow on it's hilarious.
Okay. Anybody get any win on this? Yeah. Good, good. Anyone want to share a win? Something shy. Manny, share a win.
Just right now with the reversal of flow,
Yeah.
it's like, for me, it was just like running a rewind, where it kind of
Brody.
came back and went away.
Oh, is that right? Good, good. Yeah, sometimes it takes all that for it to go away. Sometimes it just goes away right up, just spotting it, Yeah, give people the mics if you can. Anybody else want to share a win?
I'll share one.
That guy with the green shirt? Wait a minute.
Yeah, it was studying advanced procedures and axioms.
Right.
Processing. And so the effort on that was an inflow of effort, beating yourself up over it. And so I spotted that. And then, as we talked about, you agree with the counter effort going against your dynamics. You agree, and at that point, there's more out of valence because you're agreeing with the counter effort than rejecting from the pure valence. So aligned with that data, and it was a lot of fun because you agree to that stuff. It sticks around as long as you do. So it's good.
Very good. Very good. Well done. All right. Anybody else have a
I have
win?
it, don't worry.
Oh, wait a minute. She had one first.
Oh, yeah, I was responsible for this incident where I was driving down the freeway with my 3-year-old son who was really behaving badly. So I pulled over, kicked him out of the car. I told him I was going to leave him there because he would straighten up. So when I reversed the flow, that was really funny. My 3-year-old driving the car, kicking his mom out of the car.
All right. Anybody else wanna? Go ahead.
It was kind of a preemptive inflow or reversal.
Yeah,
And
you
that
said-
loss I took in real estate 20 years ago.
Ah,
You know, I finally gave up on it. And just before I came here, I got a check from the companies. They were giving me money back because they didn't foreclose on my property rights. So they went back 20 years ago. And, you know, the lawyers needed my signature on paper to close properly. So they gave me a pretty good amount of money for that.
good. And so you blew the charge on that?
Yeah, it was
Great.
preemptive.
Check will help you.
Anybody else have one on it?
Charge.
Okay, Brenda, sorry.
Well, while I was doing it, even though I knew at the beginning that it was an inflow, and then you asked me to look again and see that what kind of flow it was, I was already on to you.
Ah.
While I was doing it, I actually saw the incident disintegrating. So it became less and less and less. I was actually looking at it, and I could see it breaking up as I was doing it. So that was good to have broken that incident up, and now I kind of look for it. And it's just like a little debris.
Very good, very good. Got a win?
Yeah, well, the outflow and the inflow jammed up against each other and created a stuck point on the track, and just going back and forth blows it, you know, which is really great.
Yeah, great, very good. Anybody else?
Yeah, I had a kind of a shifting of viewpoints each time. You look at it differently, and then what happens with that repetition of looking at it differently, you see that it's a free up and freedom from it. You could look at it any way you want to. And that's in the process.
Very good, very good. Anybody else? One more.
It was really nice when you had us reversing
Reversing it?
locate the postulates, because this is an overt that I committed.
Yeah.
And also, I also postulated, not only did I postulate committing the overt, I postulated the motivator for it.
Ah.
And then when I started reversing those back and forth, well, it's still the source of both of those is me.
Ah. Very good, very good. Do you have one more back there, or is that it?
It was just funny that when you asked to admire it, and then you look at the fine mess you put yourself in at various times, and it's like.
What you created there.
He goes, oh, what a beautiful mess. It's been like, this is a beautiful mess.
Aren't we fantastic creators, huh? I'll share a little win I had. It's like, when I ran this, of course I ran it solo because there was nobody who knew this stuff who could give it to me. When I looked at, what do you call it, when it says, spot how beautiful it is. I just started laughing, line charging, because I realized here I am creating the bank again, creating some more case, right? Now, I got these various commands by doing research on Technique 80 and 88 and the other technologies that are like forgotten, hidden. Now I heard that the tech volumes are being taken away. Someone told me that last night. The original books were burned. So technology is being lost here, guys. And one of the things in this rally is to try to get everyone here to start opening up your mind and start, not that it was closed, but start looking at a lot of the past stuff, the earlier stuff. Because the earlier stuff, a lot of you guys have done OT levels, correct? Right? Is where it teaches you how to really be an OT. Just like the original OT levels, Do those if you haven't done them. So anyway, that's where I got this. It's all LRH commands. And give yourselves a hand for doing this process.
Excuse me, Ray.
Yeah,
Can you tell us where it came from?
I just did.
Oh, 888?
Technique 80 and 88, advanced procedures. I got it from different places, and I just put it together as a process to do. All these are different commands from LOH. But this is the first time I did it with a group, though. I've done it with individuals. It worked quite well.
Can we keep having wins even after?
Yes, that's a good point. This gentleman, what's your name again?
Carl Woodrow.
Carl. Carl just said something very important. With this process, you can continue to have wins. So it's okay. If I see you laughing walking down the hallway, it's okay. I know you're still blowing charge on this stuff. I had a win just giving it to you. How's that?
Great.
All right. So much for your processing. Hello, hello. Okay. Convention 2016. I want to welcome you all. 15th Annual Convention for the Independent Free Zoners on planet Earth. This year's theme is a rally point. A rally. What's a rally? Anybody know what a rally means? To rally? It means to get together once again, to reunite your comrades, your forces, your people. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I got this theme because I got a call from Flag a few months ago, or just before I announced the rally, for me to come back into the Church of Scientology. You believe that? You believe that? Pray, do you believe that? They call you? Did they call you?
It's pretty bold.
Yeah. I said, don't you know who I am? She said, yeah. I said, why should I go back in the church? Oh, it's your church. And I said, no, it's David Miscavige's church. Yeah. And then I said, why should I go back? I got all your materials, and I'd done your bridge already, and then I'd done your next bridge, the Golden Era Bridge. I have no motivation to go back in the church. Why should I pay high prices on stuff that you wanted me to do over again, or whatever? And then she says, it's illegal. It's illegal for you to do Scientology outside the church. I said, oh, it is? How come in 25 years I haven't been sued or thrown in jail? I don't want to do anything illegal, I told her. And then I said, look, why don't you give me some evidence that it's illegal? You know, a judge order or court order or some sort of law in writing that says it's illegal. She goes, all right, I will, because I know it's illegal. I'll call you tomorrow. How many people think she called me tomorrow? She never called me.
There's a song.
It's not illegal to do Scientology outside of the church. Come on in. Let's see. If it was, of course, I'll be the first guy in jail, you know. What I did when I got out of the church, I went to, I called up the Office of Special Affairs, had them come down to my office, and explain to me how illegal it was, and show me some proof. And of course, he couldn't do it. And because I didn't want anything illegal, right? I had 3 kids at home, I had a wife to support. And after 3 meetings, she walked away and said, well, we can't, there's nothing you can do, there's nothing we can do, but we'd rather you not do it. And then she goes, as she was walking out the door, she goes, well, what do you expect? You want AOs at every major city or every town? I said, yeah. How else are you going to clear the planet? And if you look at the, remember reading My Philosophy by L. Ron Hubbard?
Yeah.
Yeah, they buried that. You know. I don't know if people see that anymore. But he was talking about that no one should have a monopoly on knowledge. Not one person, not one group. And that's what you, in the independent field, are all about. You keep the freedom of the tech outside of any one person or any one group. Now there's a group in the independent field that wants to kind of mimic the church a little bit by certifying people. I've always been against this because it's just another church. Now recently, where's Valerie? Valerie here?
Not,
I'm going to show you a quote by LRH that says leave field auditors alone. To try to certify them or handle them or try to qual them is silly. That's what he says. I'm going to show you the quote, LRH quote. Right? Including mission holders, which they didn't leave alone. We'll show you the quote a little later about that. No, you know, a guy does well if his tech is well, if his tech is good. Otherwise, he quits auditing later. He quits too many overs, he quits auditing. I never quit. I give good products, just like my friend over here does. Yeah, you have a question?
The church has quit auditing.
They quit auditing?
Yeah, well, it's illegal for you to audit now.
For anybody to audit, huh?
Right, because they're not certified, they haven't gone through the golden, whatever. So
Golden age of tech. We're
if your check is out, you'll stop auditing.
yeah,
And you're auditing and they aren't, so.
right, so their tech is out. I got a stack like this of success stories. I'm sure Trey does too. We get out to good products. So who's really keeping Scientology working, see? Who's the real squirrels? Now the definition of squirrel that I read, I didn't have my tech dictionary with me, but I heard they got rid of that too. It says if you do harmful to the PC, correct me if I'm wrong, Trey, if you harm the PC with your tech, then that's squirreling. If you raise the tone of that PC, it's valid tech. I got the 2 quotes on that. And that's it. Hey, if your PC's winning, this tone level's coming up, you got nothing to worry about. In 40-some years, I never had to return anybody's money. No one's ever sued me. No one's ever died on me. Can the church say that? Okay. Just wanted to tell you that. If they call you, I'll go back to church. The church will only take your mind, your soul, and your money. I wanted to put that on the tape. So the purpose of having an independent convention every year, I mean, when I first started this, I was like really nonchalant, you know. Somebody gave me $6,000 and said, please, put on a convention. And I said, well, we're going to be attacked by the church if I do that. I'm sticking my neck out. And then I read something about boots in the sky. You know, LRH's neck was out. Every auditor that audits, his neck is out to some degree. But that's not what I came here for. I came here to master the technology, to do Scientology, and that's what I'm doing. Okay, let's go on. Because I know we got some speakers. I ain't going to talk about that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, did the church put out any negative Yeah, they do put out negative websites about me, about Trey. They put in, right, I don't know,
Yeah.
a little bit, some people. They used to be really heavy about that.
Trey and I got the same one.
Got the same one,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah, they said that, we're all squirrels, yet we get fantastic results. They said that we would not make it, yet I've been auditing in the field for 25 years. How long have you been auditing in the field?
8.
8, I don't mean to pick on you.
Well, 38 years as a field auditor and 8 years independent.
Independent, 8 years?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you guys back there? How long have you guys been in the field?
9 years now.
9 years? Great. Any other auditors in the field?
Well, since 1950.
Since 1950. Wow, that's fantastic. Let's give that guy. And the other auditors who've been auditing. I still feel that auditors are the most valuable beings on the planet. Not because Ellery said so, because it's true. We deal with your immortality. All right. They said we wouldn't make it, yet we're making clears and OTs. At least I am. Making any clears and OTs? Great. You guys making any clears and OTs back there? Is the church making any clears and OTs?
They're unclear.
Take it away there, sir. Yeah.
They said you can't be trained.
They're doing a lot of running around the pole, right?
Running around the pole, yeah, that's what they do, yeah, chasing their tail. The CS said that you can't be trained in the free zone. Yet, I found people who were trained by LRH to train me. I trained somebody to do all the L's. You train anybody?
A little bit.
A little bit. You guys train anybody back there?
Plenty.
Plenty, great. So, free zone's training people. Is the church training anybody?
No.
How many people were on course when you were on course last? Yeah, Edward.
That was, this was 7 weeks after the grand opening of the so-called Ideal Order, and I got back on course, having played that game for about 9 years, to find that there was a brand new $16.7 million facility in Orange County, California, which I contributed to. And I was the only student, not in any course room, in the academy.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't happen once, it didn't happen twice, it was 3 or 4 times, something like that. And then the only public student, with like not even a handful, that's like a sprinkling, like 1 or 2 staff members that were there. And that happened several times. At which point, my sensibilities became very offended, and I decided to look and not listen. But anyhow, that answers your question.
Good for you. And I'd like to welcome you guys into the free zone independent field. These people just left in January, right? Let's give them a hand. Let's welcome them. And a lot of us have been out so many years, and when we take it almost take it for granted, you know. Anyway, I'll continue my talk here and then get somebody else up here. What else here? Obviously, they can't be trained. I get that story all the time when there's like, empty over there. Yeah, another thing they were promoting is the free zone will soon go away. There are more Scientologists outside the church than in. We're not going away, guys. And I did a little research on the history. There's always been a sort of independent field, even from back in the Dianetic days. I got books that are written by people other than Hubbard on the subject of Dianetics, including the doctor. You know, and then when Scientology came about, there were other people that didn't want to go to the orgs or wanted to co-audit and were field auditors, and there was always been some sort of independent field. So there always will be some independent field. Okay? And you coming here gives people hope. gives people hope, and we put this on the internet, and they see our YouTubes, and they hear our talks, and it gives them hope that, hey, maybe I can get it outside church. See? And when I decided to leave the church, I looked around to see who was out. It was before the internet. And I looked around to see who was out there, and I found a lot of my old friends are out, like class 8s and 6s and so forth outside, auditing and delivering OT3 and above, and I was going, wow, this is cool. Maybe I can do this. All right. All right, I'm not going to get into this anymore. I'll save my other talk till later. Any questions? Any questions about what I've been talking about? Yes?
When they called you, did they say, we're calling from the mothership?
Don't get me talking about UFOs, motherships, aliens. We should have a convention just for that topic, you know? Because I have a film. I was going to show you, but I didn't bring it. I think because the film showed, you know, where they have like all this hidden tech, ultra tech, hidden in New Mexico in a vault.
Yeah.
You guys know about that?
Yeah.
Right? Well, there's this film where this reporter is talking to a sheriff. And the sheriff took a helicopter over that area. And right next to where they have this hidden base, into a mountain, there's these strange hieroglyphic patterns that you only could see from the sky. Right? And then there's, in this video, you gotta see this video, there's a guy in the church, he's just got out of the church, and he's talking about how the churches, does anybody know about this? He's talking about the churches are in contact with the UFO people or something. Maybe the Markabians, I don't know. Because they sure act like Markabians.
What I heard was that the idea is that if Ron comes back, he'll be able to have some indication of where they stored the tech records.
Right.
Like you wouldn't know.
Does he really want that tech? You know? All right. Any other questions? Very good. Okay, our first speaker. Who's got the agenda?
I do, if you want me to introduce
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Go ahead and introduce him.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray. Our next speaker I'd like to introduce is Glenn Samuels. He's going to be speaking about who LRH was, giving some stories and anecdotes from his own personal experiences.
Well, I didn't bring a wheelbarrow. I'm not an intern. My friend Roland talks about his days as an intern when they used to have to change rooms and you'd have to have a wheelbarrow.
Yes, we call it a Harvard standard wheelbarrow.
Cart
Carry
the
your
books
2
around.
liters and your 10 volumes and your 15 dictionaries and your shield, and they just have
Anyway, I'm looking around the room and I see some new people I just met yesterday and some very close friends that are also here that I'm really happy to see. And just a little bit about myself. I'm sort of what we've been talking about this weekend, a dying breed. Someone that got trained by Hubbard back when on the flagship and is still doing it. You know, a lot of people that my friends or peers have either passed away or they're just, moved on to other things. Like when Ray was talking about, he's done the full bridge. Well, a lot of people that I know did the full bridge and then, became daddies and mommies and businessmen. So I still audit. I basically can't do the whole bridge. I specialize in people who have been messed up by the abuses of Scientology, and that being on staff or having terrible auditing. We were talking about clear earlier. They do make clears in this church. They just don't recognize it.
Yeah.
You know, I had one guy, AO, ASHO, LA. And finally, you know, he came to me and we handled it in 10 minutes. You know, I just feel sorry for them. And then once that's done, then there's choices. They can, you know, continue with Scientology or not, get trained, which I prefer, and learn how to be auditors, and I've been training people. And then also, either do the OT levels or do an L. And what's also been happening is, say somebody's been out 10, 15 years and they don't have the same wife they had in Scientology or husband. So when I start working with them, say the ex-Scientologist, the wife notices big changes and calls me and said, "What do you do with my husband?" And then I get clients from there. But anyway, I didn't want to talk about myself too much. I have the rare pleasure to talk about L. Ron Hubbard. Is there anybody else in the room that has met him this lifetime? Yeah. Oh, Perry. Okay, and you are, sir?
Jim Jackson.
Louder, please.
Jim Jackson.
Oh, Jim, okay. Well, anyway, I had the rare pleasure to work with him on tech lines and other lines like cleaning the ship when I was in trouble. So what I thought I'd do is not evaluate who I think he was. Was he a good person? Was he a bad person? You know, was he an anger blaster? Or was this OT anger that he had? Or was he a human or an OT? I just thought I'd tell you some personal stories and then let you decide. And after I tell a few stories, there'll be a Q&A, and if Ray bumps me, I'll be available to answer any other questions that you might have, and perhaps we didn't get to you. But anyway, these are so great. I wrote the whole thing in here on the plane. So when I start working with someone, they usually have questions about Hubbard. And like as I say, I'll just go through some experiences, and we'll do questions at the end. Elleridge was generally a happy guy, despite what you might read in articles and in bios and whatever, particularly when he was out of the office. He worked at night, and he loved walking the decks and looking out the stars and talking space opera. He loved chatting with the crew. And what was kind of interesting is he loved to do dress up. Like one night he might be dressed as a R6 loyal officer. And for those of you who don't know what that is, you know, like dressed up like Star Trek or Star Wars. And they had pictures of that on the old Evolution of the Science and books. Or he might dress up as a Hollywood director, or wear a French beret with a cape and be walking around with a lot of flair. And it was fun to be with him when he was in those moods, because you just sit back and you got a show. So the first time I was actually face to face with them, I was a student on the ship in 70 or 71, around the time the flag executive briefing course. And so I had a twin on the course, and then we were on a break, and I said, I know somebody up on the bridge, let's go up there. And he'll, we can see the bridge. All right, so we run up there, and I'm ahead of my twin, and I see LRH about this far from some guy, his mouth wide as a lion, just blasting his head off. All right, and then out of the corner of his eye, he saw me and Rick, my twin. The next thing I know is my body went, and it had nothing to do with any of my volition. My body was moved. And right in front of where I was moved to was my friend named Homer Kilmer, which a lot of you know. And then he said, oh, you can't be up here now. Commodore's on the bridge. Okay. So what was that experience? Was it OT? Was it whatever? But I definitely was beamed and moved. I'll certify to that. The next one I wanted to talk to you about was I happened to be auditing late one night, and the auditor admin room was made out of that prefab corrugated boards. What's that stuff called, Trey? You know what I mean? Anyway, that real cheap stuff. It wasn't like in the middle of the tween decks they put up real walls. They just kind of put up that stuff that you could buy and snap in. So I'm absorbed in my folder, and then I look up, and the walls are going, and I look up, and then in the distance I hear LRH full barrel yelling at this guy who was a promo guy. At the time, his pet project was called the Apollo Stars, and I hope none of you listen to their music. Anyway, he was into their music, and this poor guy named Doug was being yelled at. You spent 15 cents more each a poster. What the hell's wrong with you? Do you think we're made out of money? And on and on and on. All right. So, and the walls again were going like that. So then it goes quiet, and I go back to my folder, and out of the corner of my eye, I see one of the Commodore's messengers. And the rule is, Commodore's messenger is supposed to be treated as if it's the Commodore. So, because you never know, the Commodore's messenger might have said, go see Glenn and tell him from me, blah, 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 blah. And they're trained to imitate his mood, tone, attitude, facials. So I saw a messenger, and I popped up, and I ran over, said, yes, sir, to a 12-year-old girl dressed in short shorts and a shirt tied up like that. Anyway, yes, sir. But right behind him is LRH himself. And it was one of those nights he was doing dress up. He had a big cape, a beret, and, I think by that time he knew me by first name. He was good at that. He was good at all that Dale Carnegie stuff, remembering people's names and who they're married to and all that. Hey Glenn, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine, sir. Just up late doing some admin. How's the internship? All right, I'm doing okay. How many students? Well, there's about 20. Rolls his eyes and turns to the staff captain. I think at the time it was a guy named Tony Dunleavy. And he says, oh, it's a dog's breakfast then. I didn't say anything. And so Tony, being a kiss ass that he is, or was, I'll get them on policy, sir. And he did his best imitation of a G.I. Joe. And then they walked off. So the whole thing about the wall moving was kind of, what's the word? It was exciting, scary. You know, who is this guy that I completely changed my life to be here? 1 second he's yelling, and the next second, it was no more than 60 seconds, 90 seconds. He's a completely different person. You know, so what is that, an ability, or does he have the, you know, is he split and then can be someone else? I don't know, I'm not gonna answer those. But I did see a completely different person. So, oh, you're gonna like this one. I didn't know it at the time, but the ships were being sold, and LRH was doing a brochure for Daytona and then what was to be Clearwater, and they used me as a model. And so I was the auditor, and sitting on a couch was the PC, and I was supposed to walk up and go with the folder in one hand, and then go, you know, like, follow me, you know, and so he's got his Hasselblad camera. That's a top of the line camera for people who don't know cameras. And he says, "You're 1/10 of a second too slow." Oh. How are you going to process that? Who from planet Earth can tell what 1/10 of a second is? So I'm walking back to my spot, you know, muttering. And then, okay, so then do creative processing. Imagine you're 1/10 of a second faster. So I go, well, now he's a little pissed, and he looks at one of his crew and tell him he's still 1/10 of a second too slow. I think it happened one more time. And finally, what I did, because he was getting pissed, there was no way I'm going to be able to comply. So what I did is, I said, how about I act like I just got there and I'm in motion? And he laughed. That ain't a bad idea. So instead of walking over, I so again, back to the point. I mean, is this OT or is he being wacko? I mean, I don't know. I couldn't process 1/10 of a second. But he'd liked if you were spunky and solved it. And so from then on, I think that was the first kind of personal thing we did with each other, where I was actually getting to talk to him, not just seeing a CS or something. And so he had this attitude on me that the guy is kind of funny, kind of creative, and, you know, tries to do what I want him to do, even if he can't be 1/10 of a second faster. All right, here's one that used to happen. And if you saw the film The Master, where the LRH character is telling the drunk guy, what's wrong with you is you have an incident from, 20 million years ago in Arcturus, and, that's the whole problem with your life and whatnot. And the guy who was playing LRH, who was deceased, did a good job, but there's no way to capture people from that era. You know, like LRH, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, they just had a certain dynamic about them that we just don't plain have, whether it's living through wars or whatever. But anyway, I don't want to get off the subject. So one of my friends named Janice and I are walking, I guess she was, I don't know, she wasn't my PC, but we're walking, and then LRH and his messengers and a couple of people are walking, and Janice kind of walked like a little bit like off balance and dizzy. So LRH is watching her walk, and he says, not to her, but to one of the messengers, she's been shot. Doesn't she look like she's been shot? All right, so I didn't say anything, and somebody else in the background just went, mumbled something. All right, so about a week or so later, Janice comes running into the auditor admin room where I'm running up a session. He was right, I was shot. I ran it out. I was shot. Then I watched her walk. I didn't see any great improvement. But at the time, women were wearing those real high-heeled sandals that I think are getting popular again. And I couldn't tell. But anyway, what that does is it brings open the questions on authority figures, levels of suggestion, evaluation, as is called in Scientology. I mean, would she have run that if he had never said it? Would it have been something that came up in a session? And then one of the things about being at the ship and being in tech was one of the reasons I went there is they have briefings every morning, and any folder that LRH dealt with had a red card in it and would say notes and this and that. So I read a lot of these, sit the PC down and do an evaluation. His ZFP interviews were mostly that. Perry, what's wrong with you is the implant 28 trillion years ago where, and I don't know, he was, if I were to add up the percentage, he was hit and miss, but I'd say 75%, which is, that's